Hello and welcome to part 3 of our somber and serious cue. What we're going to do is mix and master this. Remember, I am using a template which you can find a video of how to make it over here. I've actually extended this now to be 10 reverbs and 10 stems. Again, the video still works fine to make one. You just need to do an extra 4 tracks for reverbs and stems. Okay, first step. I'm going to organize these into groups of instruments that I want to become the different stems. For example, I'm going to group the percussion together and I'm going to color code everything and list them from top to bottom. Okay, see when I've done that. Okay, so everything is labeled and colored and I've gone for strings group, then synth. I'm going to keep the core anglais and horns on their own tracks. Then we've got percussion and then transitions. That should be fine. What I'm going to do next is listen to each of the tracks, probably using this end section where they are loudest, and go through and do any EQ that I want on the sounds. Also remembering that if I want to add in any audio effects, this is the time to do it, but with the thought in the back of your head that we still have a reverb track to put on. If I specifically want to craft the sound with reverb, I would add it as an insert and probably avoid it in the reverb main section that goes into our stem. So I'm going to go through, do the EQ. Right, so you can see I've added EQ for pretty much everything except the percussion. What I now need to do is we've unhidden our tracks that were in the template and I'm going to rename these from Rev 1 and Stem 1 to the actual groups that I've picked. So the first one will be string reverb and then we'll have string stem. That's the first thing to do, get the labeling out the way, because then it makes it a whole lot more sensible and easy to spot mistakes when you get to the next bit. Back in a sec. Perfect, so those are all renamed now. Next step, we go through and we take each of our instruments, we add them to the correct output. So instead of going to the stereo output now, they're going to go to the correct stem. So the strings will go to the string stem as an output. And I'm also going to set the send to the string reverb, for example. So we've got the reverb and the stem in the send and the output. I'm going to do that across all the instruments. Once that is done, you won't hear anything until you put the stem tracks into input monitoring mode. So that's a good way to check that you've done everything, is try and play it. If nothing comes out, brilliant, job done. And then turn input monitoring on for all your stems. Obviously, I won't need to do that for the ones that I haven't used. So 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, see when I've moved everything around. Okay, there we go. You can see these are all in input monitoring mode now. So the sound is coming from the stems because we'll need to record them. The next thing to do is to add any reverb to the instruments. Again, I will do that by soloing each track and then just turning up the send level, which is going into these reverbs that I've set up and then going out into the stem as well. So they're combining a bit of reverb with the original sound. That's the plan. All we do is just change these one at a time from beginning to end. See you in a sec. Okay, so I've added my different amounts of reverb that I thought sounded nice. What I've got to do now is come through and record the stems. What I'm going to do is make sure that I take these out of input monitoring, put them into record mode, and what I like to do is not use the cycle range for this, just go from the very beginning, because if you've written this correctly, there should be a gap at the beginning before that first transition. We'll want to close that up and tighten it up when we actually export it, but for creating the stems, just go from the very beginning to well past the end. You don't want to accidentally cut off any reverb. It's also a nice little chance to sit back and listen to how it's sounding at the moment. Okay, see you when that has finished recording. And there you have it, 6 stems ready to be exported. All I'm going to do now is put the Logic Mastering Assistant on to see what that does for us and pick which setting I like. Then I'm going to play it all through for you as our finished piece. Don't forget, like and subscribe, always appreciated. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.